everyone, it's Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I'm sharing with you days 13, 14, 15, and 16 of the Artist Trading Card A Day, Every Day in June challenge. I'm just kind of collecting these as I go and making them into multiple card videos because they're really too short to do it one at a time, and I don't want to do a video every day anyways. Ah! So I decided to do a little bit of stamping for day 13. I have a lot of stamps because I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 10 years. Collected a lot of stamps. Hardly ever use them anymore and probably should get rid of a lot of them. But this particular stamp was kind of unique because it has different textures on it. And so one color of ink comes out in several different values of ink. It's lighter and darker, which is kind of interesting, and I don't know why they don't make more stamps like that. This is probably a discontinued set. I will look to see if I can, find it, but I'm guessing, considering how long ago it was I was a demonstrator, that it's discontinued. But I used 3 different colors of Archival ink on there, a purple, a pink, and a turquoise. And then I'm stamping a stamp from a different set of flower. I stamped that 3 times in Memento Tuxedo black ink. I heard that that ink is better for alcohol markers, so I bought it. I don't know if it is or is not better than Archival ink because I haven't really tried, but it works for this. I obviously still have not got around to swatching these markers. I got them for Christmas last year, all in one big set, and I really need to swatch them because the colors on the ends of the markers, the plastic, hardly at all reflect what's inside of it. Some of them are so off you would not even believe it. And I still don't really understand the coding system. Like, some of them are marked G and then a number, and some of them are marked B, and some of them are marked, I don't know. Anyway, I haven't watched enough videos about alcohol markers to understand what I'm doing very well, but I have watched enough to know that you're supposed to use a few different shades of the same color, and they're supposed to blend very smoothly together, which is the whole point, as far as I understand. So I have to go through and try to find 3 shades of the same color without understanding how the coding works, and also the colored ends don't correspond correctly, so it takes me longer than it should. So what I really need to do is make a big chart and then go and swatch all these. I just haven't gotten around to it, and then I'll be much happier with them, I think. But other than that, they blend nicely, and they are nice colors. I have a lot of nice colors. These are the Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, which are a little bit cheaper than the Copics. And they came, like I said, as a set of the lights, the brights, the neutrals, and the darks or something. I don't know. Whole set. All the markers came together in one big box. So I'll link that for you if I can find it on the Amazon. Links down below in case you're thinking of needing some alcohol markers. If you really like to color, that's a great way to go. It's a very simple and easy way to get a lot of colors. One thing that's rather distressing, there's really not purple. How could you have an entire set of markers without good purples? Purple is the best color. I'm very disturbed by that. Seriously, no purple. So I have this lavender color, and then I ended up putting some of that darker pink and then a lighter lavender, hoping to make a purplish sort of flower for my 3rd flower, since I did pick purple as one of my colors. So yeah, what's up with that, Spectrum Noir? Why don't you have a good purple, or 2 or 3? Why? Why not? I don't know. So then, of course, I fussy cut them. This is kind of a scribbly flower, so it's really not that hard to cut out. And then I went around the edges. I used a smooth cardstock to do the flowers, and so when I cut them out, there's a white edge around it, where the paper's thick enough that you can see it, and it really does something to the overall look of things when you do go around with a brush marker on the edges. And so I did that with a black pit pin from my illustration set. There's one brush in there that's a black, because I stamped it in black, so that's why. And then I just glued these on with tacky glue over my background. I did add some glitter glue to the background so it's sparkly, a little bit hard to see in the video, all the sparkle, because that's just how videos are. And then I trimmed it down and layered it with some black cardstock because I think that makes it, I don't know, I like borders on things, so I always have. So then to add a little bit more dimension, oh, I stamped the word on there, but then I end up restamping the word on a piece of white and gluing it over the top because it was crooked, and you won't see that in the video, but I did do that. Adding more dimension, I took my white Posca pen and just did scribbly lines over the flowers because I like the way it looks, and then I added some more of that glitter glue over the top. So that's it for day 13. Day 14, another bright and colorful one. You know I like the bright colors. This is a technique that I've been playing with the Tattered Angels sprays. Works with them, but the original technique I think was invented or discovered by Diane Reevely, who has the Dylusions sprays. And any of you who've worked with these things know that, first of all, they're extremely bright colors. Second of all, there is no amount of covering them up. You cannot put paint over them, they bleed through. You cannot put gesso over them, they bleed through. You want to try to reuse a canvas or something, forget about it. They bleed through. So the interesting thing about that is that you can do a technique that's taking advantage of that intensity of this product, and it's really cool. So I'm going to do it with these few different colors of Dylusions today. You saw me do it a few days ago with Tattered Angels ones, though. There's just, you know, any type of a water based spray. I have some new sprays that are acrylic based and they won't work for that, but the water based ones, they will. So Tattered Angels, Dylusions, Heidi Swap, you know, all those sprays. So all I did was just use a new stencil that I got from someone and go over it with titanium white paint and a sponge applicator. And that Dylusion spray that I sprayed on there came through the white paint and made this kind of a bright pastel look over the entire background. It's really cool. So then I decided to just use some sticker letters and these border stickers. I think I got those when we were doing the shimmery art collaborations that we did for 4 months. I think someone sent them to me. Maybe Eva, I'm not sure. But shiny gold border stickers. So I put a couple strips of that. And then I mounted this onto a metallic gold piece of cardstock because I had used the gold. And then also the letter stickers are like gold typewriter key type stickers. So the reason I picked that section of the stencil that says inside on it, and then I was kind of laughing to myself because people who do fine art who are not trained are called outsiders. Outsider art is a thing. That's like a technical term for people who do art and sell it and become famous but are not classically trained artists. And so I just thought inside art, outside art, I thought that was kind of funny. So that's the reason that I put the word art on there. Just because it amuses me. It amuses me, okay? Outsider art. If I was ever to become famous, I would be an outsider. That's what I would be because I'm not classically trained. So, day 15. Sometimes you just want to use packaging. You know what? There is some really cool packaging, and this is the tab that tore off the box of the K-Cups of flavored coffees that my friend sent me. She's the one who bought the Keurig after we went on a trip and we were using her mom's. She's like, "Oh, you need one of these," so she bought me the Keurig, and then now she's been sending me, boxes of things to try. And this box was so cute. It had this little stripy paper, and then it had paper that has little colored coffee beans on it. And I thought, you know what? I could use that and make an ATC. And I should, because that's recycling and reusing and reducing, because I didn't throw it in the trash. I used it to make art. So I took the stripy paper and cut it down and mounted it on a piece of dark brown cardstock after going around the edge. You saw me go around the edge with a dark brown brush marker like I'm doing right now. Then I took the paper that had the little coffee beans and I cut it into a couple rectangles. Going to mount those on the same dark brown paper and then put those over the top. I wanted to make some little extra lines on the stripes with my white Posca pen to add a little bit of interest, but I'd already mounted it, so I had to put that scrap of paper so that I wouldn't get white Posca onto the brown background paper that I mounted it with. I should have done that striping before I put it on the brown, but it came to me after the fact. So, and then I'm going to put these two little pieces of coffee bean paper on after I mount them on the brown. One of them I glued directly onto the card, and then the second one I put on some dimensional foam tape so that it pops out a little bit over the top of the other one. I have a big roll of that stuff, so I just cut off the piece that I need, and it's easy to do. So then this little donut was on there too. It's a donut with crazy cups or crazy something in the middle of it, and I thought it was kind of cute. I thought I could add it to the card as well, but then on my other little piece of rectangle I needed something else, so I decided to sketch out a coffee cup. And it's just a basic mug. It's not anything fancy, but I did put polka dots on it, and I'm going to color it the same colors as the background, and all the different rust and olive and mustard and cocoa colors. So if you're enjoying this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment so I know you were here. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notification ding-a-ling bell. And you can share this if you want to on social media. That would be fun too. All those things really help my channel. Helps people find me who haven't already found my channel and might be interested in it. So I'm going over my pencil lines with my illustration markers. Those are the pit pins. And I got out the wrong pencils. I meant to get the ink tints and I got out my pastel pencils instead. So then I had to put those away, get out the ink tints, and then I'm just going around and coloring all the little pieces with the ink tints pencils in the right colors, and then I will activate them after the fact, rather than coloring a spot, activating it, coloring a spot, activating it, which you kind of think about doing that because, oh, I need to get that water on there, but then I realize, of course, I don't need to. I just need to activate them all at the same time. So I got out my water barrel brush with the fine tip on it and activated all of those pencils. It's a watercolor pencil, but they're an ink, and so once it's dry, it's permanent, which is a nice feature when you're doing mixed media, because you might put a different layer over the top of it and you don't want it to smear around. So then I cut this little guy out. It's on a scrap of watercolor paper, so it's very thick. It's my 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper that I've been using for everything. Had to cut the inside out with an X-Acto knife. And then I needed to take my dark brown marker and go around the edges. That's from my Faber-Castell Artist Pit Pin set of colors. I think there's 70 of them or something in there. And then I glued that onto my card and got out my white Posca pen added some highlights and some little steam coming up off the cup to make it a little bit more cute. And then I put on my little donut onto the other piece of paper that I have on there. And I think it came out really cute, and it was all just done with, something that was going to be thrown away after I opened up the box of coffees. It almost has a masculine vibe to it, like maybe you could make something like that with the Father's Day card coming up. So day 16. Day 16. Day 16. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had this dried out baby wipe that had some stuff on it. I decided to start out with that as the background. And I put the Liquitex matte medium underneath, and then I also put it on top because the baby wipe is like fluffy, it's thick, and so you need to get that glue soaked up into it to get it to stick right. So it takes more glue than you normally would use, I think, because you want the baby wipe material to soak it up. So once that was on there, I thought it looked like water. Really looks a lot like water, actually. So I went around the edges with the Archival ink called Garden Patina, which is a turquoise. And then I thought, well, I'll use a stamp again. I knew that I had a frog stamp. It took me a while to find it, but I found it. So I wanted to make some lily pads, so I got out my green paper, my color box there, and a little tip: if you're gonna try to punch deli paper, you need to have a thicker paper underneath it. This is a scrap of cardstock. I had to use that because otherwise the deli paper gets stuck on your punch and doesn't come out, and then you have to dig it out. So I had to remember to use a scrap piece of paper. Oh, excuse me. So those were ovals. I punched out a bunch of ovals because I'm making lily pads, and I'm going to attach those over the background using the same Liquitex fluid matte medium. And I didn't do them all the same. I got different light color green, dark color green, turquoisey green, so that there was more interest instead of punching them all out of the same piece. And then I stamped my frog onto a scrap piece of 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm going to watercolor it. Imagine that, watercoloring on watercolor paper. Who would have thunk it? So I used my what is this, koi from Sakura travel watercolor set. Again, I will link all the things that I used in the description box below in case you need them. And if you do need them, please use my links. Helps me out, keeps me in paint a little bit. Sort of, kind of. It's not that great, but at least it's something. So I'm using a couple different colors of green and just kind of letting them blend into each other, the darker green and the lighter green, to give the frog kind of a mottled skin. Because a frog would have mottled skin, I'm pretty sure. He also has spots, and I'm going to color the spots a different color, which is going to end up being brown. Because I figure he might be a toad. Maybe he's a spotted toad who has brown spots on green skin. I don't know. We used to have a toad who lived out by our pool in the backyard. But he left. I don't know what happened to him. But he was there for a couple years, and he stayed through the winter and just, I guess, hibernated under the bushes out there. And then we'd see him the next spring, and he'd be there again. Big old toad. So I, of course, fussy cut this, and it was fussy. This was not something that was easy to cut out. And I used a green brush marker to go around the edge. Cut that out because it was all off screen. I was holding it too close to my eyes so that I could see it, and it didn't get on the camera at all. I guess I needed readers or something, I don't know. So glued that on, and then left a space to put some sort of saying down at the bottom. I used the neutral gray color brush pen to kind of add some shadows under the lily pads and around the frog, under his arms, under his legs, just to make it look more dimensional. And of course highlights with my white Posca pen. I know some of you would just fall over and croak if, croak frog, if I didn't use the white Posca pen on every project. You guys would be, what? Who is this? It's an imposter. So, Tim Holtz chat stickers. I put one of those on there. I drew around it with extra small pen from my illustration set, Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And what else? Oh yeah, I had to go around it again with the ink pad. And then I just squeezed out a little bit of that white Posca pen fluid stuff and took a brush and did splatters. And so that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.